The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history. In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As guys, every single one of you needs to understand that we have had unprecedented levels of negativity thrown towards XRP's direction recently. Here we have a crypto trader stating Ripple coin will never break its all-time high again. These are the type of narratives every single one of you need to understand should light up your souls. Guys, whenever you hear your crypto being bashed, it's the most likely time it's ready to erupt. We have heard Charles Hoskinson bash XRP, Jim Cramer bash XRP 3 times, Max Kaiser lump XRP in with scam tokens. And now, this is a clip of Vitalik Buterin, head of Ethereum, talking down XRP yet again. Something's brewing for the XRP token, as we're getting more hate than we ever have before. And you should be very bullish about it. Because with the 2-year anniversary of this case coming up tomorrow, I believe it could make for the perfect scenario for something to trigger with the ending of this case and the potential positive price action of this token.
The only qualification to be able to call yourself part of the crypto space and not have people complain is to just somehow use cryptography and to have some kind of chained data structure somewhere. Those are literally the qualifications. You don't even need decentralization, right? I forget. Has IOTA even gotten rid of their coordinator yet? I forget now.
No,
right?
The answer is no.
Right. XRP, right? They're still completely centralized, and but at the same time they are on CoinMarketCap and still I think haven't apologized for writing documents into the to the US government, basically saying that they should be favored over Bitcoin and Ethereum because Bitcoin and Ethereum are China controlled. I think that there should be a way to talk about Ethereum that doesn't implicitly, lend credence to the, the Lunas and the XRPs and the IOTAs and the Bitcoin Satoshis visions of the world, but that still does leave room for kind of valuing the good and the honorable things that are happening in other ecosystems, right?
Now, while you keep Vitalik's words in your mind, what you need to understand is all these people coming out of the woodwork at this speculated time to be an important moment for this XRP case is no coincidence in my book. Bob Way, around 2019, came out of the woodworks to help out the XRP army with plenty of information, insider information, to give us a look as to how big XRP could be. Bob Way was one of the original 10 people at Ripple, and that cannot go unnoticed. And the other day, he retweeted this specific page. This was super helpful and explains all the questions I've been getting about 20022. This release makes perfect sense to me, but I like to hear from the XRP community if anything about this announcement confuses or intrigues you. This is about the ISO 20022 migration that began in November, and we're going to see gradually be rolled out into 2025. Bob Way states the reason this ISO 20022 transition is extremely helpful to Ripple's bank sales team is that this means every bank is required to implement new technology. That is extremely important. Banks hate to change an already working process. Change can introduce new problems, which means bankers get fired. This is the number one reason most bank integrations don't happen. New system development is expensive and risky. Mistakes can generate bank losses or fines. Bankers get fired. And the person you're negotiating with must have product budget, development budget, a risk appetite, but with a mandatory ISO 2002 change happening. The person you're negotiating with only needs to have a product budget. Money for development has already been allocated elsewhere. Nobody gets fired for following a mandate, and that makes the sale a much easier lift for Ripple. That being said, bank software sales is still a hard process, especially with the SEC suit still adding FUD to the process. But even if banks wait for a settlement, their 20022 upgraded system becomes much easier for Ripple to integrate with them. The biggest impact is going to be that even smaller banks are going to be upgrading their systems. And this is very important, my friends. That creates a much bigger pool of on-demand liquidity compatible banks. This XRP revolution is going to start from the ground up to the top, with the smallest banks and the smaller and less used corridors being where a lot of this initial liquidity and price growth for XRP will happen. Smaller banks will get the most benefit from on-demand liquidity. It lets them cut the larger correspondent banks out of their flow and cost. And the fact that Bob Way is over here, giving us the XRP army yet more comments after he had gone ghost for a couple years, is no coincidence in my book. I believe this Ripple XRP case is coming to an end. And I'm beginning to see the posturing from high-level Ripple executives, politicians, crypto insiders that let me know that it's almost showtime. Here we have Brad Garlinghouse calling out Gary Gensler and the SEC. He stated it's ridiculous and shameful that Gary Gensler was touting the SEC's enforcement actions as the cop on the beat in the crypto market, yet met with Sam Bankman-Fried multiple times and was caught completely flat-footed when the alleged fraud finally came to light. The Wall Street Journal is calling out Gary Gensler. I told all of you a concerted effort is being made in the background to get Gary Gensler fired, and you should all be confident that this man has no place in the crypto space. Right now, Sam Bankman-Fried is being extradited to the United States, and Gary Gensler's favoritism and extended association with Sam Bankman-Fried is going to bite him. On top of that, we're beginning to see politicians returning millions in donations from FTX executives. And if things like this continue to happen and unravel, a lot of things could align to get Gary Gensler out of office. Quite frankly, I don't give a damn about the gossip and the drama going up around this FTX situation. But what I really do care about is the fact that the crypto space does need regulation, but should not be treated unfairly due to one fraudster's actions and due to the negligence of Gary Gensler. I believe karma's about to hit. The shame that should be brought down on these people cannot be ignored. And we have a powerful interview with Thinking Crypto and a current U.S. congressman discussing how he and his colleagues are going to hold the SEC and Gary accountable. This is the best news I've heard for the XRP community in a long time, and I'm a big believer that an accelerated conclusion to this SEC case could happen as a direct result.
How are you and your colleagues at the committee going to keep the SEC and Gary Gensler accountable? What are your plans for 2023?
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you that it won't be 14 months between visits. Okay, I mean that's part of our primary function here in the House of Representatives is to have oversight. The other is to control the purse strings. Now, the SEC and some of these other regulators have some self-funding mechanisms from fines and different things that they deal with. So we're going to have to work through that, but they still come to us with budget requests. We can put things in called enabling legislation or limiting language. Enabling it would mean SEC, you must do X. Limiting language would say, SEC, you may not use this money to do Y. You can use it for other things, but you can't do this certain thing. So that's going to be the primary tool is looking at the oversight side. There is potential for some legislation. We had been getting close on a stable coin that Patrick McHenry and Maxine Waters had been working on. And frankly, there was some expectation that we were going to be dealing with that this calendar year yet before this Congress is out. Just a reminder to everybody, we get seated for a 2-year Congress. So when this Congress ends on December 31, all the bills that have been introduced go away. All of the legislation that had been proposed no longer exists. And then in January 3, when we get sworn in, we have to start all over again. And that'll go for that 2-year period. So there was a lot of work that had been done on it. There was some, I think, opportunity and optimism that we might be able to at least start down that path of clarity. And then, frankly, FTX happened, and the beginning of November, when that all fell apart, it just sucked all the oxygen out of the room.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to unpack from all of this. We have to remember that the SEC has been calling to boost crypto exchange enforcement. They've been looking to have a harder stance on crypto. Gary, in line with Elizabeth Warren, want to bring the hammer down, but now Gary Gensler doesn't have the legs to stand on. He wants to enforce, but then fell asleep at the wheel, and the very person who's the reason why the crypto market is seeing backlash right now is the person who he met with the most. Guys, at the end of the day, what that congressman stated at the end of that video is very important. I believe it's very possible that some type of crypto regulations that had been being worked on in Congress could get passed. And if that is in fact the case, we have a small window to see if that occurs. Stablecoin regulation, exchange regulation, CBDC regulation, crypto market regulation is all coming very, very soon. FTX is a catalyst for that. Stablecoins are. This Ripple case concluding is as well. Everything the XRP community has been waiting for years now is coming to a final climax of a moment where we're going to have our day in the sun, and I think it's closer than it's ever been before. I'm very well aware that some of you have been saying, Bull, we've heard you say this before. Of course you have. In 2020 into 2021, the XRP community should have had a monumental bull run, but our bull run was stolen by a coward in Jay Clayton, who on his last day in office sued Ripple, who now we find out had a corrupt dealing with Bill Hinman to have Ethereum have a competitive advantage. But somehow, someway, that shot's fired against Charles Hoskinson, and he had to call his conspiracy theorists for it, despite the fact that we have the documents, we have the facts, we have the videos of them discussing just that. The XRP community got robbed of a complete bull run in 2020 into 2021. But now, 2022 into 2023, this case is concluding. The bullish momentum and the infrastructure for XRP to finally have its day in the sun is there. And because the XRP price was so suppressed for so long, I believe we're going to have a slingshot effect to where now XRP is going to go higher than it would have gone originally had we just had a speculative run with the rest of the crypto market. We saw Bitcoin underperform a lot of expectations, Ethereum as well. But in my personal opinion, XRP is going to exceed the expectations that everyone has for when this resolution finally takes place. We're going to have our day. The XRP community is going to have the last laugh. And the maxis will all capitulate. XRP will be the one digital asset to get full-blown regulatory clarity in the United States and across the world. And that in itself should speak volumes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at Swift? Former Swift board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's High-Level Advisory Board on FinTech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.